When it comes to fat loss, it does end up coming down to calories in, calories out, and all this sort of nutritional and exercise science. All that stuff is correct, right? But the fact is that humans implementing these changes and actually being successful with them has so much less to do with those things. Eating the right foods, having the right macros, doing the right plan, having the right, special dietitian plan. It's so much less to do with that and so much more to do with the psychological and emotional environment that these things unfold in. And I think everyone intuitively knows that. Like, you can get the best plan in the world, the most educated person in the world, give you the best plan ever. But if it's a pain in the ass to do, then you're not going to do it. I always say, sort of jokingly, but probably seriously, that nutritionists and dietitians probably have the lowest success rate in terms of people actually following through with the plans that people give them. It's like anyone who's given a diet plan, it's just such a small percentage of people actually follow it through for any serious length of time, because it's not about that. It's not about having the right plan. It's about having your emotions and your psychology in the right place and your understanding of change and to implement it. We are not a mechanical organism. There is psychology and emotion embedded in everything that we do. This is important to understand and to make sure that you consider in anything that you do. And what is the right pace to make these changes? Where is the right step? Where do you need to start? What is your history with all this? What am I emotionally and psychologically ready and able to implement? That is the primary question as to whether you're going to be successful going forward. And then not only that, like, it's not where you're going to get started, but how are you going to how's each stage going to unfold? Change is not a straight line. It doesn't go from one step to the next to the next to the next. You're going to go back and forth. You're going to go all over the place, because that's how change really happens, right? So, and having the emotional resilience and the emotional tools and the psychological frameworks that to help guide yourself through this. Because change does not happen in a vacuum. It doesn't happen just because you've got the right instructions and you just bang them out. No matter how much people want to say that, and no matter how much, really, if you think about it, it is just a matter of just banging out these instructions. But let's just be realistic. It just doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't. There's the emotions and life situations happen and they disrupt these things, and then we find a bunch of excuses. Because this happened, because that happened. But I mean, there's always something that's going to happen. There's a lot of stuff going on in life. So unless you had taken all that into account, there is no chance of success. You must have that as your primary understanding and thought going into this, and how you go through it. So it's very important to consider the psychological and emotional environment when you consider making these changes. I always say that losing weight is less a matter of nutrition and exercise science and more a matter of change work, because the truth is you're not going to be utilizing a lot of that in the beginning, because too much change is overwhelming and then it burns you out and you quit. That's just a fact. Right, it's just you can only do what you're ready to do, ready and capable to do. And again, the fact is just too much change overwhelms the system and it cannot handle it. So when considering any of this, remember that most experts in this field, experts do not approach it this way. So if someone isn't taking that into consideration, you're going to know that most people are studying the entirely wrong field. This isn't about exercise and nutrition. This is about change. This is about the change process. Does someone understand how to navigate and guide you through and coach you through the change process? That will be the major success that you'll see, is someone who is guiding you through the change process, not just giving you the right plan. Right? Because we all know people do plans all the time and they always fail, right? Because they aren't taking into consideration the true process of change. So change work is what we want to study, not to be honest, the exercise and the nutrition's pretty easy, right? Honestly, eat less, move more. Everyone knows, right? But then how do you get yourself into a place where that's something that's realistically going to happen at all and then continue to happen, right? So if you found that valuable, give it a like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time.